Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for taking time to watch and all the comments and everything. I greatly appreciate it. Please continue. But I got a quick question. Does anybody else ever just get disheartened, just kind of on things? I wanted to give a couple of updates and stuff, but frankly, I'm tired of being tired. Is anybody else just tired? No energy, and everything seems like an overwhelmingly daunting task because at 360 pounds, everything is a daunting task. And just pain. Are you in a lot of pain as well? I wake up with pain. I sit, I'm in pain. I stand, I'm in pain. I move, I'm in pain. Just everything frickin' hurts all the time. Just sitting here, my back is killing me. Got, heated seats, all that good stuff. But sure enough, by the end of the day, my back, my butt, my hamstrings, my knees, my ankles will all be killing me just from sitting and whatever little bit of movement. So by the time I get home and want to go move, I just hurt so bad. I try to stand for 5 minutes, and just my back and my knee is just screaming. It's so frustrating. And there doesn't seem to be a roadmap or anything to be like, here, do this, do that. I did want to give an update on sardine fast and stuff. I did make it 7 days, and then I had some miso soup with tofu and stuff the other night. And then last night ended up having, what did we have? Collard greens, beans, and some oven baked sweet potato and potato wedges. And some sardines as well. The sardine only thing, I really am hoping, or was really hoping that, all the omega-3s and stuff would really help my joints and stuff faster or better. And I think they're good and stuff, and I don't mind eating them. Just sometimes other food sounds really, really great. I am going to continue eating them when I do eat, and probably, but I don't know about only them all the time. But I don't mind having them for the only thing to eat, for when I'm doing like OMADs or something like that and wanting to keep things pretty tight there. I don't think it's a bad thing. I do feel very satiated with them. So that's awesome. 2-3 tins of sardines, and it's hard to want to eat anything else, which is great. I don't know what the calories are exactly. I'm guessing that's probably right around 900 to 1200 calories, depending on which ones you're eating. And if you're doing that as an OMAD and wanting to strip off a lot of weight, I can see some benefits with that. Some people say you stay in ketosis, which, okay, maybe. I'm not for sure on that. I don't have the keto strips or the glucose tester things or all of that fancy stuff. But yeah, it's all right. The one reason that when I do fast and I want to fast for longer terms is more for autophagy and getting into stem cell stuff, not necessarily just ketosis. Now there's huge benefits for fasting with ketosis and stuff like that. And I'm talking just water fasting. I'm not talking any other tricks or anything like that. I find the cleanest, best way to do that. And oddly enough, that's also when I feel with the most energy and the most clarity and stuff, which is great. And I know I get fasting for quite a while, and people are like, man, you got to eat this. You got to have some of this. You got to diversify your diet and things like that. And, I'm hungry enough and stuff. It's like, yeah, that sounds good. Like our miso soup is miso, obviously. with like leeks, onions, garlic, ginger, what else? Mushrooms, tofu sometimes, kind of depends. So it's a really good, clean, soup. It is fantastic and has nothing bad in it at all. I think my wife will sear like the leeks and stuff with olive oil, and good olive oil, not some cheap whatever could be blended crap. But we try to focus on as good quality of stuff as we can. And I hurt. Except when I still hurt when I'm fasting. But when I'm fasting longer is when my body feels the best and I have the most energy. And I really think that for me, that's something that I need to try to stay encouraged with or realize, because it's so easy to say, I'm going to go eat. Well, I ate just 2 meals this whole weekend. One was the miso soup thing, and the other was, like I said earlier, sweet potato and potato wedges and collard greens and beans. It's nothing huge, nothing that's slap your hand that's bad. But yet today I feel hungover. I feel lethargic in a lot of ways, not motivated, just kind of slow, just kind of And I really think that my metabolism is so efficient that I just slow down and will hold that and process and just, use energy for that and want to not do anything else. I just think that that's being so sedentary for so long, so many years. My body's very well adapted to being extremely efficient, which some people say that's slow metabolism. I don't know. I always say that, in a famine, I will outlast most of you. That's just how it's going to work. My body, I don't think needs anywhere near the food that I've consumed in the past. Well, I know it doesn't need the food that I consumed in the past, but I don't think it needs near the food that most people would suggest that it does. I understand where they're coming from, but I'm also understanding that a lot of times that comes from a understanding that you're dealing with an average person that has certain amount of mobility and certain functions throughout the day and stuff like that. Also, if I want to be down to 160 pounds, which on my 5'6" frame is not a excruciatingly low number. I mean, granted, muscle mass and things like that would play into effect, but there's no way I should be over 200 pounds. I mean, even pretty well stacked with muscle and stuff, I should be 200 or less. At 360 pounds, that's a lot. What I'm getting at, though, is a 160 pound man at 5'6" that doesn't move doesn't consume very many calories at all to maintain their weight. And that's a reality that is like, hey, I can't keep I got to think that way as well. If I want to get to that goal, I can't be like, okay, just reduce your calories by 500 calories. Well, if I'm consuming 5,000 calories a day, or have been, and in that practice, going down to 4,500 just means I'm only going to be gaining a little less weight. Not that I'm losing, weight. I'm just slowing that progression down. I think it's logical to look at it from the other direction. I could be wrong. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. It's okay. I've been wrong before. I can take it like a big boy. But I like to look at, well, what's the goal where I want to be at? And if that is, 160 pounds, then what does a 160 pound person need to be able to maintain that weight? And what activity levels, and then look at what my actual activity levels are, and then line those up. So if I want to be 160 pounds and I'm only moving 2,000 steps in a whole day, how much does a 160 pound person need to be eating? those numbers are a lot less than what most people think. You know, at the very most, you're looking at like 1,500 calories, maybe 1,800, depending on their metabolism and stuff. So, and to have a 1,500 calorie meal is not hard to do this day and age. I mean, if you aren't, doing it yourself, and if you aren't heavy veggie loading and stuff, even looking at proteins and stuff, it's not hard to consume 1,500 calories of proteins. It's just not a whole lot there. So, yeah, especially if you want to add any diversity, any, grains or starches or anything to that, which I don't think are the devil, before somebody says you need to cut those anyways. There's purposes for them, and there's a goodness for them. Understanding when to have those and consume them and stuff is, good to have that knowledge base. Yes, it is better to be at a particular activity level when you're, consuming your carbs and things like that, or getting ready to do those, so those can be used for fuel real fast versus converted to stored fat. But with that, I digress. What are you guys' thoughts, though, on pain and lethargicness? Am I wrong for thinking that I really just need to be fasting so much more? I think that I function better only eating like maybe twice a week. I don't know. Does that sound absurd to you guys? I know to some people that sounds completely insane. I know some people, it's like, man, you can't be doing that. That's crazy. But when I went to physical therapy, they told me I had to stop fasting, and I got less gains and actually reversed and gained weight doing physical therapy on eating, 2 small meals a day. It just doesn't work. I think my metabolism is at a certain rate that I'm okay with eating a lot less than what most people realize. And with all this extra stored fat, I really think my body wants to prioritize burning that versus other things. Or it just likes to store fat. I'm not sure. If you understand how that would work, on how I feel it works with me, and can explain it better, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to know more about it, because I seem to have difficulty expressing that to people and them understanding what I'm getting at, especially, some doctors or professionals or physical therapists and stuff. Anyways, I greatly appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll catch up soon again. Have a great day.